Hello, and welcome back to Erin Twibbles Around Aimlessly, a channel in which I am documenting my husband and I's journey to debt freedom and also starting our journey towards financial independence. And some of the steps that we've been taking in order to achieve these goals includes budgeting and budgeting monthly, and that is what we are going over today, and that is our May budget. So I've got my blank spreadsheet here in front of me. I'm working out of my Excel workbook. For those of you that are familiar, if you are not, I do follow the Budget Mom, and I have just modified the Budget Mom worksheets into an Excel workbook. That is just what works best for me because I can have my formulas in there, auto add things up, and quickly make changes and track everything. Let's go ahead and jump right in. May for us is going to be a 5 paycheck period or 5 week period. So that will be 3 paychecks for me. I get paid fortnightly being every 14 days. So every Wednesday I am paid. My husband is paid weekly on every Wednesday as well. So my anticipated income is going to be $9,660 and then $5,550 for my husband. We are also going to have to take $5,000 out of one of our sinking funds. That gives us a total income for the month of $20,210, which I know will sound like a lot, but we're still going to find a home for every dollar that we have and come up with a zero-based budget. And the first thing that we're going to start with is our fixed bills, our fixed expenses. These are things that we have to pay every week or every month. Non-negotiables cannot change. So we are going to have 5 weekly payments to our personal loan. That's going to come to $1,370. 5 weekly payments to our mortgage for $1,850. Health insurance. We did make a change and we changed our health insurance fund for our private health insurance. So our payments are actually increasing, and they're going to be fortnightly. And so we've already paid for the 1 month in advance. And then starting towards the end of the month, we'll start our first fortnightly payment, and that is going to be $280. We have $235 for our home insurance, and we are now looking at $260 for our vehicle insurance. Something has gotten a little bit wonky because we dropped one bike off and then added the other one on, but it still went up by an additional $30. So we're following up on that. That is a nice thing about tracking is I'm able to identify those small anomalies. 5 weeks of my pool membership, that is paid weekly. That is going to be $100. $50 for my mobile phone, $115 for internet and cable. Electricity, we are now paying this monthly. The company just switched to that instead of quarterly. We're anticipating no more than $100 in all honesty because we do have solar. It is going to come out much less than that, but I would rather over budget and have extra money to put back elsewhere than under budget and have to scrounge and find money. So we just take a more conservative approach. And then we have another one. This is actually our biggest yearly whopper of an expense, and for me this year it is going to be for my U.S. tax advisor. So long story short, Australia has double taxation. Well, the U.S. has double taxation, so any citizens living abroad have to file taxes in the U.S. every year, regardless of if they have worked in the U.S. or not. So we have to file individually, my husband, my son, and I, our taxes to the U.S. on our Australian income. I have also crossed a threshold this year to where I can potentially have to owe taxes to the US on my Australian income. Because it's the first time that I have crossed that line, I have hired a tax advisor, and for this I need somebody who is familiar with and qualified in US tax law and tax filing, as well as Australian tax law and tax filing. So it's not the kind of thing that I could go to my aunt or my uncle or my brother or my best friend from university. It has to be somebody that is actually qualified in that area. And after doing the conversion from US to Australian dollars, that is where $5,000 are going to. Ouch. But that is a reality of living overseas. And if you would like a longer video on exactly what that process is like, let me know in the comments and I will be more than happy to share that information with anybody who is interested. So that is going to give us not paying $1,150, $115 there. That's the other reason right there why I like Excel. If I make a mistake, I can quickly change it and it fixes my total for me. So a total of fixed expenses this month because of that additional whopper, $9,360 that will be outgoing. That gives us the rest for our variable income, our sinking funds, extra debt payments, and savings. So next we're going to jump up to our variable expenses. So these are things, grocery, household, eating out. These are things that can change. So if we have to make changes in our budget and shift money around, this is where the changes usually happen. Again, this is going to be for 5 weeks worth of expenses. So $1,200 going to groceries. Groceries are quite expensive here in Australia, but I think that we're doing okay in terms of the amount that we budget. $300 for households, still tinkering around with this, thinking that we can still drop that some. My allowance, just kind of some spending money, is $120. Our other big whopper, because petrol is just so bloody expensive here, it's still about $1.45 per liter. And if you figure that there are 4 liters in 1 gallon and you do the math, that comes out to just under $6 per gallon that we pay. So we have $900 that is scheduled for that. We spend about $300 a fortnight on fuel. Transport, because Australia loves tolls as much as they love anything else. So if you want to use any type of road here, you usually have to pay. So $525, $450 to feed our very large hungry dogs that we have. We have 2. Bulk groceries, the best category that we added in since the beginning of the year that I learned from watching other YouTubers, is having an envelope for bulk groceries. So going to Costco, things such as that, knocking down a cow, any of that, it has just been fantastic. $300 to our miscellaneous fund, so different things that might come up. $300 for eating out. My husband and I have date night each week, and so this might be a casual lunch or it might be a nicer dinner. It's just time for us to get together, just us, no distractions. No dogs, no phones, no TV, no nothing. $375 for health and personal care. And then my husband, Gaz, he gets $450. So that is his money. I don't ask where it goes. He doesn't have to tell me where he spends it, and he doesn't give anything back. That is going to give us outgoing for our variable of $5,220. Our third area is our sinking funds and saving funds, and we have quite a large number of these. So $105 going to our emergency fund. We do have our $1,000 emergency fund. We're just putting more towards it each year to slowly start building it up. It will become our focus once our debt is paid off as well. $270 in hospital. This is most likely going to change because we have had our insurance change. $570 towards maintenance. This is for vehicle maintenance or house maintenance, so anything that needs to be done there. $465 for registrations. If you've been following me for a while and seen some of my other budgeting videos, you know that we pay out the nose in registration for vehicles here in Australia, particularly in Queensland. $375 is still for utilities. That is our water and our rates, and we are starting to put money aside for our camping and caravan trips. So we like to take off usually kind of 2 weeks to a month at a time that we go out bush and just go and camp and take the dogs with us and explore Australia, go up and down the coastline into the outback, into the some of the other states and territories as well. We do have a dog vet, which I call Turbo Stupidity Fund, because one of my dogs, as much as I love him, he can be dumb as a box of rocks and likes to eat anything that he comes across, but right now we're sitting okay in that. Insurance excess, this is for our vehicle excess. This would be, I guess, the equivalent of a deductible in the US. So your portion that you have to pay. After we had the first issue with the bike before it burnt up, we realized that we probably really should have enough to cover that gap for at least one of our vehicles. $195 for subscriptions, and this is both for personal and professional, and then $585 into our cash sinking envelopes. And that's a variety of different things. If you're interested what goes on or what amounts. That is what every other Sunday is for. So I have a video on that where I just stuff envelopes with cash with our beautiful Australian money. That is going to leave us with $2,780 left over, and there are two areas to which we can put this, and that is towards extra for our debt and then also extra towards our save. So we are going to start with debt. We have an agreed upon amount of $2,100 in addition to the $1,370 or whatever our contractual payments are to our debt. We have found that this is an optimal level for us. This keeps us on track to have this debt paid off in September. In order to bump it up to have it paid off any sooner, any earlier than September, we would actually have to put an additional $1,000 per month towards it. And that would get us to an August payoff, but it would only save us about $75 in interest. And so we figured that we're probably better off with putting that extra money towards our emergency fund and such like that. I realize that that is not a 100% Dave Ramsey approach, but that's okay because I do not follow a Dave Ramsey approach. I have some influences from it, but for the most part, I do not put all of my eggs in one basket just to pay down debt, because if something happens, like many of us learned, an emergency fund for us of $1,000 would barely get us through 1 week of expenses, to be perfectly honest. We need much more than that, and this is an opportunity in an area where we can do that and harmonize a little bit better, not have all of our eggs in one basket, so to speak. So $2,100 extra going to the loan, that is going to leave us $680 that we're going to be able to put over into our savings. So I am doing one of the Budget Mom challenges. Actually, I'm doing both of them, both the digital and the cash envelope one. And so the total amount for the digital is going to be $108, and that's going to leave us $572 to go towards savings, to our sinking fund, or it might go towards investing because we are starting our investing journey. We've been doing some research. We know what ETFs we are going to start with. We've got our paperwork in for opening our shared trade account. It is a minimum $520 per trade. So that's $500 for the trade and then $20 in management fees. So it could be any number of things, or if we have something else come up. So if it costs more for my tax advice than as anticipated, or if there's any additional filing fees or anything like that, we just have some extra money in there. So even though we run a zero-based budget, I do not run a $0 bank account. I need to have some form of a cushion in there. And so by having that extra money either as a cushion or anywhere else to where I can access it if need be, that just gives me a little bit of peace of mind, because if something comes up, we do want to be able to pay cash for it. So that is everything that we are looking at for May. Pretty straightforward. So basically this budget, it's our roadmap. And now all we have to do is follow the map and not twibble off in different directions too much, as I can be wont to do at times. And we'll check in with it I check in with it a couple times throughout the month. And then at the end of the month, just do a quick reconciliation and see how we go, as well as the additional payments that we make. That is always during my Transfer Tuesday videos. So it is on every Tuesday. If that's something that you're interested, make sure that you tune in. So if you have watched this far and you enjoyed this content and you just want to give me some moral support, do please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and a like. If you have any questions or anything to add, go ahead and drop that down in the comments down below. How are you going with your budgeting? What type of a budgeting system are you using? Did you make changes as we moved from quarter one into quarter two? Love engaging with individuals and people in the comments and getting to know different people and their journeys. So do feel free to interact in there. Otherwise, that's all that I have for this month in regards to getting our budget for May together. As always, remember to choose kindness, show gratitude, and always keep a positive mindset. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.